You are standing in the plumbing aisle staring at 3 different plastic pipes that all look like they do the same thing, and you have no idea which one to grab. Pick the wrong one and you are looking at a failed inspection, a flooded ceiling, or water that is not even safe to drink. After over 25 years of working with every type of plastic pipe on the market, I can tell you this confusion costs homeowners thousands of dollars every single year. Today, I am breaking down 10 things you need to know about PVC, ABS, and CPVC, so you always pick the right pipe for the job. And stick around for number 9 because most people get that one dangerously wrong. Plus, I have a bonus tip at the end that could save your next project from a serious headache. The first thing you need to understand is the basic chemistry behind each pipe, because once you grasp this, every other decision falls into place. PVC stands for polyvinyl chloride. It is a rigid white or light gray plastic that handles cold water pressure and drainage beautifully, but has a hard sealing when it comes to heat. ABS, which stands for acrylonitrile butadiene styrene, is that black pipe you see in drain and vent systems. It is slightly more flexible than PVC, handles impact better in cold weather, and does not require primer before gluing, which we will get into later. Then there is CPVC, which stands for chlorinated polyvinyl chloride. Think of it as PVC's tougher older brother. They added extra chlorine molecules to the polymer chain, and that one change bumps its heat tolerance up dramatically. That is why CPVC can handle hot water and regular PVC cannot. The chemistry is not just trivia. It is the reason each pipe has a specific job, and ignoring that is where problems start. The second thing to know is where ABS dominates, and that is your drain, waste, and vent lines. If you have ever looked under a sink or behind a wall at the black pipes carrying wastewater away from your fixtures, that is ABS doing its job. It is lightweight, easy to cut, and joins together with a single-step solvent cement, no primer needed. ABS handles temperatures up to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is more than enough for the hot water that flows down your drains. It is also more resistant to impact at low temperatures than PVC, which is one reason it is the standard for DWV systems across most of Western Canada and many Western U.S. states. If you are roughing in a bathroom or replacing old cast iron drain lines, ABS is often the fastest and most code-compliant choice. Just check your local jurisdiction, because some areas on the East Coast and in the South actually prefer PVC for drains instead. The pipe itself will have markings printed along its length telling you the schedule, the diameter, and whether it is rated for DWV. Always read those markings before you buy. The third thing worth knowing is where PVC shines, and that is cold water supply lines and underground applications. Schedule 40 PVC is the workhorse of irrigation systems, outdoor supply lines, and underground drainage. It is strong, corrosion-resistant, and incredibly affordable. For cold water pressure applications, it is hard to beat. You will also see it used extensively in pool plumbing, sprinkler systems, and municipal water delivery. But here is the critical limitation. PVC is only rated up to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Run hot water through it consistently and you are asking for warped joints, weakened walls, and eventually leaks. That is not a maybe, that is physics. So if the line you are working on carries any hot water at all, put the PVC down and reach for CPVC instead. Another thing to know is that PVC comes in different schedules. Schedule 40 is the standard white pipe with moderate wall thickness. Schedule 80 is gray, has thicker walls, handles higher pressure, and costs more. For most residential work, Schedule 40 is all you need. By the way, if you are finding this helpful, you should know this is just a taste of what I have put into my book. 50 easy plumbing fixes that will save you $10,000. It covers everything from leaky faucets to running toilets, step by step with diagrams. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code on screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us keep going. The fourth thing you absolutely must understand is where CPVC stands alone, and that is hot water supply lines. This is the pipe that most DIYers overlook or confuse with regular PVC, and that mistake can be a disaster. CPVC is rated for continuous use up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it the only plastic pipe approved for hot water supply in residential plumbing. It comes in 2 sizing systems, and this trips people up. CTS, which stands for copper tube size, matches the outside diameter of copper pipe and uses its own specific fittings. Then, there is iron pipe size, which matches standard PVC dimensions. For residential hot and cold water supply, you want CTS-sized CPVC, usually in 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch diameters. The pipe is typically a light yellowish or cream color, which helps you tell it apart from white PVC. When you are running new supply lines to a water heater, shower valve, or kitchen faucet, CPVC gives you a plastic option that handles the heat without the expense of copper. One thing to keep in mind is that CPVC is more brittle than PVC or ABS. It does not like being forced into position, and it can crack if you over-tighten or stress the joints. Handle it with respect and support it properly with hangers every 3 to 4 feet. The fifth thing on this list is a glue and primer trap that fails inspections. And this one catches more DIYers than almost anything else. Here's the deal. ABS uses a single-step yellow or black solvent cement. No primer required. You apply the cement, push the fitting on, give it a quarter turn and hold it for about 15 seconds. Done. PVC and CPVC are different. Most plumbing codes, including both the IPC and UPC, require you to apply purple primer to both the pipe and the fitting before you apply the solvent cement. That purple stain is not optional. It is proof to the inspector that you primed the joint. Skip it and your inspection fails, period. The primer softens the surface of the plastic, so the solvent cement can create a true chemical weld. Without it, you are basically just gluing 2 hard surfaces together, and that joint will eventually fail under pressure. Also, make sure you are using the correct cement for each pipe type. PVC cement on CPVC joints will not hold. ABS cement on PVC will not bond properly. They are all chemically different, and the cements are formulated to match. Read the label on the can every single time. The sixth thing you need to watch out for is UV exposure and outdoor use, and I call this the hidden killer. Sunlight destroys plastic pipe. All 3 types are vulnerable, but the speed and severity varies. PVC degrades the fastest in direct sunlight. The UV radiation breaks down the molecular structure, making it brittle and prone to cracking. You might not see the damage right away, but after a few months of direct sun exposure, that PVC line is compromised. ABS holds up slightly better because the carbon black pigment in the plastic offers some natural UV resistance, but it is not rated for permanent sun exposure either. CPVC falls somewhere in the middle. If you must run any plastic pipe outdoors or in an area that gets direct sunlight, you need to either paint it with a UV-resistant latex paint or shield it with some kind of cover. Some manufacturers offer UV-stabilized versions of their pipe specifically for outdoor use, so check the product specs before you assume you are protected. The bottom line is that no standard plastic pipe should be permanently exposed to sunlight without protection. The seventh thing to get right is mixing pipe types and what code actually says about it. Homeowners do this all the time. They have ABS drains and grab a PVC fitting because the hardware store was out of the right one. Or they try to glue PVC directly to ABS with some kind of all-purpose cement. None of that is acceptable under code. You cannot solvent weld PVC to ABS. The chemistry does not work. The plastics are fundamentally different and will not form a chemical bond. If you need to transition between the two, you must use an approved mechanical coupling, often called a transition coupling or a banded coupling with a rubber sleeve and stainless steel clamps. Some jurisdictions allow a specific transition cement, but many do not, so check your local code before relying on that. And the same principle applies when transitioning from plastic to metal. You need proper dielectric fittings or approved adapters to go from CPVC to copper or from PVC to galvanized steel. Every connection point is a potential failure point, so doing it right the first time is not optional. It is insurance. The eighth thing worth knowing is what you actually pay per foot, because the cost differences might surprise you. For standard schedule, 40 pipe and 3/4 inch diameter, you are looking at roughly 50 cents to $1 per foot for PVC, which makes it the cheapest option by a wide margin. ABS runs a little higher, usually around 75 cents to $1.50 per foot, depending on your region and supplier. CPVC is the most expensive of the three, typically $1 to $2.50 per foot for CTS size pipe. But here is what most people miss. The fittings and cement add up fast, especially with CPVC. A single CPVC 90-degree elbow can cost 3 to 4 times more than the same fitting in PVC. And you need primer plus cement for both PVC and CPVC, while ABS only requires the cement. So when you are budgeting a project, do not just price the pipe. Add up every fitting, every can of cement, every can of primer, and then compare. On a full bathroom rough-in, the material cost difference between ABS for drains and CPVC for supply versus all copper can be several $100s. The ninth thing on this list is chemical resistance and what you can safely run through each pipe. And this is where people get into genuinely dangerous territory. PVC handles a wide range of chemicals, which is why you see it in industrial and laboratory drainage. It resists acids, bases, and most salt solutions without breaking down. ABS also handles many chemicals well, but is vulnerable to certain solvents and ketones, which can soften or dissolve it. CPVC has excellent chemical resistance overall, but it has one major vulnerability that surprises people. It can be attacked by certain chemical compounds found in common household products, some aerosol sprays, insect repellents, and even certain pipe thread sealants contain chemicals that cause CPVC to crack prematurely. This is called environmental stress cracking, and it can happen without any visible warning until the pipe suddenly splits. If you are using CPVC for your supply lines, make absolutely sure that any thread sealant, flux, or chemical spray used anywhere near it is CPVC compatible. The manufacturers publish compatibility charts, and ignoring them is gambling with a flooded house. The 10th and final thing you need to know is regional code differences, and this one could bite you harder than any other item on this list. The United States does not have a single unified plumbing code. Some areas follow the International Plumbing Code, known as the IPC. Others follow the Uniform Plumbing Code, or UPC. Many states and municipalities adopt one of these as a base and then add their own amendments. What this means in practice is that ABS might be the standard for drain lines in Phoenix but not accepted at all in parts of North Carolina. CPVC might be perfectly legal for supply lines in Texas, but restricted or banned in certain California jurisdictions that prefer copper or PEX. PEX rhymes with flex. Before you buy a single piece of pipe, call your local building department or check their website. Ask specifically what pipe materials are approved for the type of work you are doing. A 5-minute phone call can save you from ripping out an entire system after a failed inspection. And if you are selling a home, unapproved pipe materials can become a deal breaker during the buyer's inspection. Code compliance is not just about doing it right. It is about protecting your investment. All right, here is the bonus tip that pros actually use, and it is one of those things that separates a clean professional installation from a DIY job that screams amateur. When you are making solvent welded joints on any plastic pipe, temperature matters more than most people realize. If you are working in a garage or an unheated crawl space, and the temperature is below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, your solvent cement is not going to set up properly. The chemical reaction that creates the weld slows down dramatically in cold weather. The joint might feel firm, but it has not fully cured, and when you pressurize the system, it can blow apart. On the flip side, if you are working in extreme heat above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, the cement can flash off too fast, meaning it dries on the surface before you even get the fitting pushed on. The fix is simple. In cold conditions, store your cement and primer indoors and bring them out only when you are ready to make the joint. In hot conditions, work in smaller batches and apply a heavier coat of cement so it does not dry out before contact. Professionals also keep a damp rag handy to wipe excess cement immediately, which keeps joints looking clean and prevents solvent from dripping onto finished surfaces. This one habit alone will make your joints stronger and your inspections smoother. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams, all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.